Are we making the issue about ghosts existing or not existing more complicated than it is? Have we let religions and Hollywood dictate our beliefs? Could it be simply biology, anatomy, and science? Religions are in the business of explaining the unknown, such as what happens to us after death. The unknown is controlled by them because there is no evidence they are wrong. Hollywood is in the business of entertainment. Biology, anatomy, and science is not blockbuster money. Now, I am not a biologist, a scientist, or an anatomy expert. I am simply a person fascinated by the subject and looks for possible answers that may actually defy religions or Hollywood's interpretation of ghosts. Here's my theory. I believe there is probably some sort of life to death transition that occurs. I think this transition must happen in a specific order. I have heard throughout my life about a holistic approach: mind, body, heart, and soul. Let's put this to a life and death transitional order, but let's change it a little bit and apply the order of death as physical, memory, intellectual, and soul. Physical death must occur first, in which the heart and lungs stop working. This starts the brain shutting down due to a lack of oxygen. Science and anatomy and biology. Now, I think this causes the memory section of our brain to panic, and the memory is a giant filing room, metaphorically speaking. So the memory is running around looking for operating manual for the heart and lungs to get them restarted. So does this running around cause that life to flash before people's eyes that we've heard so much about? And if we accept that memory is our emotional heart, we remember we love and how they loved us. The memory has to give up before intellectual death can occur. Once the memory gives up, the intellectual section of the brain starts preparing for a long trip away. It shuts off the lights, which is the eyes gloss over, cleans out the refrigerator, which is defecation and urination, and sends the final messages of goodbye, which starts the decomp process. Intellectual death must occur before the soul leaves the body. If at any time this order is disrupted, the soul does not escape cleanly and can't move on. So that's my theory. So let's apply it to actual hauntings. If a person dies from immediately being crushed or blown up, would this cause the type of ghost who doesn't understand they are dead? The life to death transition order did not occur at all, resulting in total confusion for that ghost. If intellectual death occurs before memory death, then is that what causes the residual hauntings? Whatever life file it was holding when the soul departs is what is repeated after death? If the soul's departure occurs before intellectual death, then is that what we have identified as intelligent hauntings? Did the dying person fight death too much? Did they damage their own soul by not letting go? Obviously, I have no way to prove my theory, but it does simplify the issue into potentially a more believable explanation than what I've heard all my life. I know this doesn't seem to address demons or possessions, but aren't demons a religious thing? And aren't possessions being interpreted by Hollywood and religions? So let's take a step back from those two organizations and their beliefs and actually look at this. Among the living, we have incredibly cruel humans. These people control others through oppression, aggression, and treat them as a possession. Now, do you think death changes these people? Wouldn't they fight death at the intellectual level? Wouldn't they think it funny to act like a demon, the worst nightmare, torment, and torture anyone they encounter? Wouldn't they prey on the weak as they did while they were alive? Wouldn't they continue to oppress, possess, and be aggressive? The intellectual being doesn't have to be the nice in life people. It can be the monsters that walk among us. What about possessing objects? Well, don't the living possess objects? Doesn't the child curl up in the security blanket? Don't they have a favorite doll or toy? Don't adults have our favorites? Don't we have our comfort things that make us feel loved, safe, and wanted? Aren't we possessive of what belongs to us while being alive? Why would that change in death? If we are talking about a soul without any solid substance, couldn't it curl inside any object and claim it as their own? If you are an intelligent haunt, then you know you didn't pass on, and knowing that could be scary and could cause that soul to seek a safe place, whether it is in a house, a toy, a car, a piano. Wouldn't they go there where they can feel safe? Do those instincts die when we die? If intelligent haunts can move objects, answer questions, bark orders like get out, then why can't they have fear and instincts? If we the living act out when we're upset, wouldn't ghosts do the same thing? Have you ever thrown things in anger? Have you ever touched things that your parents told you not to touch? Have you ever hid things as a prank or a joke? Well, why are we under the belief that they wouldn't do the exact same thing? I do believe that ghosts can do things similar to what the living can do. Obviously not everything, like I don't think they can eat and drink anymore. But I bet they probably have cravings. And honestly, if I had to go an eternity without chocolate, hamburgers, and french fries, I would classify that as hell. And I think I would be a grumpy ghost. So perhaps if we change our mindset on what we're actually dealing with, we will finally get answers. But even with that, I don't think we'll ever know all the answers until we die. And then we're going to be in the same boat as all the ghosts currently, knowing it and yet can't communicate it, which allows the skeptics to win. I do wish there was more research on reincarnation to at least prove or disprove whether we come back in a different form or a different human. Are souls recycled? Let me know in the comments below what you think about my life to death transition order. I really do want to know your thoughts on that. And thanks to Jim Riley for the music for this video. And thanks for watching Paranormal, True or False.